All right. Yesterday, we had and Helmsley's put a picture of this up on Picture of the Day. There were some news stories that ran. I watched one last night, and I'm really thankful to our old friend Jim Dunaway, who's been a friend of this program for a long time. He's not only still in the sports world, he's actually a news anchor now on a CBS affiliate that covers a large portion of Alabama. So some of you are already aware of that. And Jim and his wife, I'll never forget it, 7 years ago when our youngest son went to heaven, came to the memorial service. And I remember Jim writing this incredible blog that has meant so much to our family and to so many people. And he's one of those people that said this was a moment that radically changed his life and his family's life. And so yesterday, my wife's been writing a book for over 5 years and just really grinding it out. And we even breaks taken during the process for obvious reasons. And she felt God told her to do it, so she's done it. And she finished it last summer. And I think rightfully so. She needed kind of a break after this. So the whole looking for a publishing deal, we didn't exactly jump right into it. We kind of let the process work itself out, praying about where the book needs to be, because obviously it's such a precious piece of work, and it'll be the next phase of this ministry that our family's been called to. Not one we would have picked, but we're obedient and trusting God and have seen him do incredible, incredible things. And it's been actually a wonderful experience to get to know him in such a way. As Job talked about, there's something about pain and suffering that you know God in a way that you don't through anything else. As he said, before I'd heard of you, now we've gone through this together. Job said, now I see you, and even though you slay me, I trust only in you. You're it. And so this book is it's not a fluff book. That's not really who we are, and I don't think that's who God is. And it's kind of who God really is, not who we might try to make him to be. And so it had to find the right home. And it was a process going through. Some publishers, I think, felt it was a little strong for them, sadly. There were others that said, we're in, but we'd like to dilute it. We went through that process, and those were some pretty incredible opportunities, but there was no compromising the message. And not that the book won't have some mild editing done, meaning, hey, you've introduced this person, who is it? But these were people that wanted to change the book in a way that was unacceptable. And so finally, yesterday, my wife signed a publishing deal with New Hope Publishing. This is a ministry-oriented publisher. It's one of the smaller players, but at the same time, perfect for this book. And it was so funny because you were looking yesterday for confirmation, and we've really been praying about this, and it was a beautiful, beautiful moment when there's just such a just like with this platform we've gotten. You remember those wonderful moments throughout our history, and that unfortunately they've been very few, when you finally talk to somebody that can actually help advance the show and they get the show. Mm-hmm. I get it. Yeah. Because so many people don't. And frankly, we found through the process, a situation here or there where you could tell the people who wanted to publish the book didn't get it. Yeah. Sadly. And of course, Sherri knew that was not the place to be, and so you're looking for that confirmation. She's got all this apprehension about it. You can understand how important this is, that you do it right. And so she sat down yesterday with this wonderful group of people, and we'd already seen God place someone that had worked here on the show before, that had been with different publishers, and now was at this publisher, and we already liked that they were mission oriented, and nothing wrong with being out there to move books. I mean, we talk about this. Our job here is to sell advertising, but we wanted someone who was not going to compromise it in order to maybe sell more books. And this bunch had already said that was not their desire. They read the book, all of them. They got it, and there was just this moment, and it was so beautiful. There was this senior editor from Illinois that came in to meet Sherri for the first time. She was I don't know her age, but she was not a overly young, immature woman. You could tell this was a powerful woman of God who was very deep in the faith. And she literally walked up to Sherri and said, "This book is holy." It's holy.
Hmm.
She said, I sense it. As a matter of fact, I want everybody on this staff to take shoes off. You're with this manuscript laying here on this table. Remove your shoes because we are in a holy place, and this manuscript must be treated as holy. She said, I have edited books by the numbers. I ain't never seen anything like this. And she said, so this will be treated. Her quote was, I will not edit a word unless God tells me to. And seeing my wife, just that calmness come over her, and just that moment of her getting that beautiful confirmation, this is it. Thank you, Lord. This is it. Not the time frame we would have worked, not this, that, or whatever. We did it on your time. She did what God told her to do, and he honored that yesterday. So she signed the deal with New Hope Publishing. They're going to try to expedite it. When I say expedite, that means early 2016.
Yeah.
That's the reason why there'll be more coverage of it when it actually comes out. Yesterday was just solidifying the partnership,
Right.
and I do appreciate Jim and CBS 42 coming over and doing a package on it that ran last night and interviewing Sherri, and she did a beautiful job. We also sent our guys over there. Adler went over there, and he's putting together a package and some of the things. So we'll put that out on our social media, and Helmsley's got a picture of her signing that deal as picture of the day. So I think Adler said maybe probably by Friday we'll have the package of the entire deal, and him interviewing Sherri and me and all that, and we'll talk about the process. But the book will be out 2016, and we're hoping that maybe it'll be done quick enough that it'll be out on January 19th, which is the day he went to heaven. If not, sometime later into the year. It'll be in the Lord's timing. But the deal is done. It is going to be published. It's called Bronner, and it's I can't describe the book to you. I mean, it's there's no way to describe it. But we will do our best with it when it comes out, and we'll try to get her in here, and we'll talk to her more about it when that actually happens. But that was the next step that happened yesterday. So
I'll never forget. I'll never forget when I started reading it. I was actually in a shooting house, and I was supposed to be hunting.
Well.
And I looked down, because I had it on the smartphone, and I forgot I was hunting.
Well.
I got into it and looked up. I don't know how long it had been. I'm like, I didn't care what walk through the field or anything. It was just you just lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
it's
something else.
I'm looking forward to seeing it in its form. The book, the whole package, and everything. And we just read the rough draft.
Right.
And again, the waiting for the right situation. Opportunities come early. With what you just said, evidently that was definitely the right move. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were some tests along the way. God will test you. He doesn't tempt you, but he'll test you.
Right.
And there was at one time a pretty big deal on the table,
Yeah.
and I admit this in the flesh, because I thought, man, what could this do for the fund? And man, this is going to probably be, my gosh, there's no telling. They're wanting to sign her to multiple books, and suddenly that first red flag goes up. And you're like,
You want to ignore it
You
because you
want-
got a roadblock.
Yeah.
and you want to ignore.
What was that?
You want to
Wait,
ignore.
but I really like this deal. Now hang on.
You want to ignore it like it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember Sherri coming to me, and she said, I think I got to push this back.
Wow.
And I said, look,
Well, that's obviously the right call.
I agree. I wish that wasn't the case, but you're going to have to make that decision. And she did.
But then yesterday happened, and
then
realized,
yesterday God
okay.
said, you passed that
Yes.
test.
Yeah.
You passed that test. So it'll be interesting. I look forward to it. It's not. I really believe it will. It's bigger. I don't want you to, and we'll talk more about it when it actually comes out. But don't get in your mind. Yes, it'll serve a purpose to help those that have been through pain and suffering. No question, it'll do that. But it's more than that.
Well, it
Much
is,
more.
and you said I can't begin to describe it, and I found myself crying. Found myself even laughing at times.
Yeah.
Educational, just because of being so close to you guys over the last few years and
Right.
learning stuff about your family I didn't even know. Not only that, at the end of the day, it is one of the most challenging things I've read if you want to be a warrior for Christ.
Amen.
And
no
that's the
question.
and that's the bottom line.
And I hadn't lost son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, like, I hadn't gone through that, but I felt more challenged reading this book
Yeah.
to be that warrior that we're called to be.
Yeah.
It is a remarkable piece of work, and I can't wait for people to get their hands on
I
it.
got an email from Chris Tomlin the other day. He's been working through it because he said he wanted to be part of it, endorsing it, and he with this tour and all that. And he I think he summed it up. He said, He said, "This is a masterpiece of grace," is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Sherri said. Look, we love our son. It's not really a story about him. I mean, that's in there. She says, not a story about our family. That's in there. Story about, it's a story about God.
Oh, yeah.
Really
You know,
is.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And so 2016, it'll be out. Pray that that's sooner than later. But it's all going to be in God's time. But yesterday was a big step. We'll put a package up on the social media. Thanks to CBS 42 and the other media that came out to cover the deal being done yesterday. And we anxiously await the book being available. We'll be back. More Rick and Bubba next.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.